would prefer to run CLF as the major, Lucid Dreams, Strife, and Breath minors. You can run Purification Protocol if you want, but I prefer CLF as it's a bigger DPS increase for single target, more predictable. And then Corruption, I'm only running 31 because that's the best I've got, and it's just Mastery Corruption, so Hone Mind Mastery percent. Pretty much it. It's pretty standard talents for Frost, Glacial Spike build.
Speak your mind. I must uphold my father.
Assuming you have absolutely zero prior knowledge on the masks, you've got the paint, it just leaves a puddle of goo on the floor that deals 6 sanity at max sanity resist. No, paint is double affixes. Burn Bridge is the one that leaves the puddle. Then you've got Long Night, it halves your max sanity, but everything else is left normal. Daredevil makes it so that mechanics deal 400% more sanity damage, I believe. Yeah. And then Dark Imagination just spawns a mob sub 50% sanity on a 1-minute internal cooldown. In terms of resources, you want to run Ghastly Goulash, that's 2% of your max health every second. It's pretty much going to be your bread and butter food for these. Make sure you don't die without a healer. You can Ventus Rune, Augment Rune, whatever, Flask, Scroll if you want. And then you should have 125% extra damage and health for the mobs. I'm currently carrying a person, so every mob you see here will have 2 times the health as, you know, if you run it by yourself. So basically, as long as you have half of my DPS in this run, you're gonna perform, you know, about the same on your own. Here I like clearing these. You're gonna get maybe a gift proc after you kill these. Once he casts Repel, just ignore him. He's not gonna take a lot of damage. Then you go to the Void Speaker. The only thing you really need to interrupt is the Fear cast. Mind Play is fine as is.
Okay.
Once I get my proc, I like to pop my cooldowns, Lust, kill these. You can spell steal that for damage taken reduction and more haste, which is always nice.
Beware.
And if you're playing Frost, you can always use your pet Nova to kind of freeze mobs in the distance and get that extra crit on them. Stand on these for extra damage.
Beware.
Now, in terms of potions, this potion, whatever color it is, will always be the bad one. You can plug it into your weak aura and see what all the other potions do. I would recommend eating Kebab pretty much on cooldown as soon as you have 100 sanity deficit. So right now I've got 575 max, so 475 will get me to max with the extra 100 sanity after I eat for 10 seconds. And you want to make sure this is going to be relevant in the harder zones, that you're not going to spawn a horrific figment or a fear circle or something that's going to interrupt your eating in that 10-second window. So ideally, right after the horrific figment spawns and dies, you want to eat, or right after the fear circle spawns and goes away, you want to eat. There's 2 buffs in this zone. One of them is here and it's 7% versatility. If that one is not up, the other one is a 10% haste buff. I'll show you where in a bit. The 7% versatility buff is just 1 rare that you kill, and that's it. The 10% haste is a kind of gauntlet event. Really, you you know, have 3 waves of spirits that come out, and after you defeat all 3 waves, you get the buff. So your 10% haste buff is going to be here. Either this or the 7% versatility will be up. Always one or the other. It's worth the time investment to do it because it lasts for an hour, essentially the whole run. The repel will do a significant amount of damage if you happen to, you know, Frozen Orb while it's repelling. But your Ghastly Goulash pretty much heals you up. You can always use health potions, so you're not really at risk of dying ever. As Frost Mage, you have a lot of, you know, survivability. You've got double ice block, you've got a lot of ice barriers. You should never really be concerned about dying, just don't panic. And this should be the last wave, after which you'll see the buff come up on my bars right here.
Protected.
Okay, now I like clearing the zone first and then getting the potions, because the first application of the potion gives you a buff that lasts 5 minutes. If you don't get a second application, it's going to leave you, and it's a pretty bad effect for the debuff. Like this one, you vomit uncontrollably. It's not good. I like to mark the sanity potions. Like right now, I'm not going to need that sanity potion for a solid while, but I want to be able to find it with ease when I come back to the zone. I don't want to remember where they all are, um, or lose track of them. So just set a global marker on it and you're fine. This is going to give that extra 15 minutes, so 20 minutes. Extra 20 minutes for 25 minutes, my bad. And you should be good. Same with this. You should be good on the... Oh no, it is 15 minutes, just the time dilation has affected the buff display. My mistake. Right now my kebab is off cooldown, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. And I should pretty much finish this zone and the Dwarven district that close to max sanity, without using any orbs, without really munching any potions, just from clearing the zone and doing the elites for sanity. Another important thing is I have in my settings specifically for Stormwind, this isn't applicable for Orgrimmar, Critters and Companion nameplates on, because you can proc your Gift of the Titan off critters. And that just makes it so you don't take any sanity loss for, what is it, 20 seconds, something like that. So there's no reason not to proc it if you're, you know, just going around collecting potions or whatever, not really DPSing anything. Every zone has 2 of each type of potion, and I believe 3 of the poison potion. So once you're done with this zone, you should have 20 minutes, or around 20 minutes of each buff. So 20 minutes, 19, 19. Right now it just changed to 19, so about 19 minutes of each buff. Found my 2 sanity potions, cleared all the trash, so I'm done with this zone. I like going in a clockwise fashion, starting with Dwarven District, because these 2 are the easiest ones. And I have the ability to just find the sanity potions, not consume them, and have those as a sort of reserve if I ever run into any troubles down the line.
Can't believe it. Everyone's gone insane. They're stockpiling weapons for Nazat's armies in the Dwarven district. We have to destroy them. Set these explosives around the area. I'll get to work on the detonator. Stay safe.
Again, you can freeze the mobs, get a higher crit chance on them. It's pretty nice being Frost.
Protected.
Another buff that can be here is going to be a 10% damage buff. You have to work your way around landmines. If you step on a mine, it's going to basically send you to the entrance and you have to deal with it all over again, except you're going to be stepping over your sanity puddles as you do it. So just take it easy, walk slowly, and you're going to be fine. If this buff is not available, the other one will be a 10% crit in the bank of the trade district. And I'll show you guys that when we get there. Sometimes there's a potion here, there isn't one this time, but it's a good place to check. So I'm going to go ahead and mark the sanity potion here in a bit. Once I dip to 50% sanity, I'm going to spawn a horrific figment, which is one of the mask affixes. And he's got very little health. There he is, that's the animation for it. This is what you want to watch out for if you're eating your food. You don't want to start eating and then have that spawn, because it's going to interrupt your eating, and that's just... The food's still going to go on cooldown, you're not going to get the benefit from it, it's not good for anyone. So now that he's spawned, I can go ahead and eat my kebab. Right now, I can proc my Gift of the Titans, so I'm going to go ahead and try to proc it off some of these rats, and then pull the mini-boss with the rats.
Protected.
So that should give me 200 sanity once he dies. Again, if you're running this by yourself, he's going to have half the health he has here currently, because I'm doing a carry and it doubles the amount of health for a DPS carry. It's not hard, you just avoid his entropic leap. He casts it 3 times in a row, every time, and that's it. So I'm already almost at max sanity, haven't touched any sanity orbs, haven't touched any potions. And that's the gist to how you want to run these, is you want to regain sanity passively faster than you lose it, or at an equal rate even, as you lose it. That's pretty much the gist of it. So on paper, having, half your max sanity from, what is it, Mask of the Long Night looks hard and it looks bad, but it doesn't really matter because you're regaining sanity at a rate greater than you're, draining it, so it's whatever. My gift is about to be up, so I'm gonna grab this potion, kill some rats, and then pull some more trash. And while you don't need critter nameplates on to see the rats, it's not like they're invisible without it, it makes them a lot easier to see. So it's just a quality of life sort of thing I like using for Stormwind visions. And there's the other sanity potion, so I'm gonna go ahead and mark that. Gonna save this glacial spike so I can cleave onto another set of trash instead of wasting it on this one mob. Now, with the affixes here, the entomophobia, not sure how that would be pronounced, you can let it reach 5 stacks and then jump. It's not like it automatically goes off the second it reaches 5 stacks. So there's no real need to panic, but you definitely want to make sure you jump once you get 5 stacks. You don't want it to force you to run against your will. That's just a recipe for disaster. My kebab is going to be off cooldown in a bit, so I'm going to go ahead and wait for it. Scorched Feet will only, activate once you move. You can have Scorched Feet and stay still all day long and you're not going to go anywhere. So if you're in a dangerous position, just stop, don't move, face a direction that's safe. Let's say there's fire in front of me. I'm going to face this direction and then, proc it that way.
Protected.
And again, similar to the first zone, the starting zone, you want to... It's easier for you if you full clear this zone, get all your potion buffs here, and then you don't have to worry about potions in any other further zones. It's gonna last you till the end of the run. It's easier than being in a mage district zone and having to worry about potions while you have to deal with the already harder mechanics and bosses in that zone.
That's all of them. Detonate the explosives and let's get out of here.
So right now I've got 45 minutes on all the potion buffs, so should be long enough. There's sometimes a chest there and sometimes potions. I already found my 2 sanity potions and all my other potions, so I didn't need to clear this zone, but if you want, you can. Just say for argument's sake I didn't get all my potions, and I'm gonna go ahead and clear this looking for the potions. Sometimes there's a potion here, 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 or here. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do the boss, kill a rat and hope I get the buff. Got lucky there. You can click these to get them to move, but I like just moving out of the way. Note that if you are Frost Mage and you cleave and freeze them with Glacial Spike, you can no longer click them. They will be frozen, but they're clickable. And you can just move out of the way when he casts his breath. It doesn't have a particularly wide cone. And again, he will have half of that health when you run by yourself. Everything here has double the health because I'm carrying a person. So, right now, the state of things is I have 2 sanity potions for 200 sanity here. I've got 2 sanity potions for 200 sanity here. I still have my 3 orbs, still have my self-res. And I'm about to do a second zone. So here, what you can do is you can either Blizzard or Frost Orb and pop those out of stealth, stun them, kill them, and you don't have to deal with them. I'm gonna save doing the boss for a bit because I'm still pretty close to sanity cap, so there's no need to do it right now. I'm gonna just clear some trash in the meantime.
Protected.
So this is the circle that I'm talking about. If you were out of combat and you tried eating your kebab there, you would have gotten feared. So right now, I'm out of combat. That just spawned. It's got an internal cooldown. I don't know how long. My DBM doesn't track it, but anywhere from 30 seconds to 1 minute. So already extra 100 sanity. I'm at 40 minutes for the buff, so I don't have to deal with purple potions, but red I can still take because it's sanity. I'm gonna go ahead and mark it if I need it. Clear some more trash. This ad is pretty annoying. It gives you a debuff that lowers your haste and movement speed by a considerable amount. You can decurse the curse if you don't want to take damage. Mage benefit. Make sure you move out of that circle. And then right now I can go ahead and do the mini boss, so I can kill some rats, get my gift, pull this boss with my cooldowns, and she's pretty much not going to do much to me. I can stand in this and not take sanity loss, but I don't want to stand in that.
Beware.
And that's it. You can check here for potions if you are missing a sanity potion, if you somehow missed a buff. There's a fair number of potions that spawn there oftentimes. I'm just looking for one more red potion. There it is. Have my marker. I'm gonna go ahead and wait for my Gift of the Titans to be available before I pull this. So this boss does two things essentially. One of them is he will spawn a tentacle underneath you that silences you and does sanity damage, and the other is he puts this corrupted blight disease on you. If you can cleanse the disease, cleanse it and you won't get that circle of sanity drain. If you can't cleanse it, you can ice block it before it hits you, and you're not going to get the circle of sanity drain. Kind of just let him live on purpose to show that. But you're a frost mage, so you can ice block it and then cold snap have another ice block. It's not a big deal. And with the boss in the previous zone, all you have to do is move out of her blade dance when she does it and avoid the cone of the fire blast. I forget the ability name. It's not the affix this week, but some weeks you have the, I think it's called split personality, not great with names, buff that you have a lot of mirror images with one gap. As a mage you can just blink out of it, but the executioner mobs in here will sometimes kind of like grip you towards them, and you want to be wary of that because if you have that spawn right before you get gripped, you're going to eat it on the way to the mob. So right now I'm still pretty much max sanity, haven't really had to deal with anything. Gonna go ahead and see if I can proc a gift off one of these rats while I'm at it.
Okay.
There we go. Been getting really lucky procs here this run. So with the Gift of the Titans buff, I can just look at the eye. It's not going to do anything to me. It's going to wear out in about 5 seconds though, so I might want to stop looking at the eye. Now with this, they're not going to start draining sanity until they finish the cast, until they actually start casting it and channel it. Like right now, no sanity being drained, no sanity, now sanity would be drained. He's going to go away, do 3 circles in a straight line, and you don't need to be facing him. Like right now, I'm looking at him from the side and still able to cast. So that's convenient when you have iffy eye placement. You can just, like right here, I don't have to look at him, just standing right next to him, still casting, not eating the sanity from the side. With Leaden Foot, you want to make sure you stop moving for a bit, let the stacks drop off, and then keep moving. Blink out of that. And that's pretty much all there is to this boss. It's just kind of getting used to the positioning, knowing where you can DPS them while being safe. Understanding that the eyes aren't going to immediately drain sanity the moment they're in front of you. You have a little bit of a time window of safety. So right now, where are we at? We have 6 sanity potions, 600 sanity, 3 orbs, and a self-rest, still at max sanity, and we have 2 zones left to go. When you're starting to do progress on the 5 masks by yourself, there is this rare right here that gives you 200 sanity when you kill him. How you do this as mage or as any other class, you can polymorph him, you can CC him, and you're going to want to separate his bots from him and kill the Tinkered Shield bot. It's going to drop health by, a factor of 10. It's going to have like 600k health or something. Kill his robots away from him, and then go ahead and DPS him. If you're a class that doesn't have any form of polymorph, hex, any form of CC, the proper way to do it, how you're intended to do it, is you put a toy train set in his path, and he's going to stop, look for something to destroy that toy train set, cast a really long cast, um, and then go on to follow you. So you put that in his path, distract him, drag his mobs away from him, kill the mobs before he, you know, gets to you, and then that's it. Then you can kill him without him having like 99% reduced damage. Or whatever it is he has. Gonna go ahead and eat my kebab, it's off cooldown. So for the most part, up to this point, all the fights have been pretty straightforward. There's nothing really you can cheese per se compared to Orgrimmar, where there's a lot of cheesing you can do, not just as mage, but in general. Here, though, you have both bosses that are cheesable to differing degrees as mage, and as other classes in general. So I'll go ahead and clear all the trash first, get it out of the way. Because I don't need the 200 sanity right now, like that would put me way over cap. It's not necessary, so I'd rather clear the trash that I'm going to have to clear anyway, and still be sanity capped. So as you'll notice, I let my stacks go to 5, then like wait a tiny bit, and then jump, and still haven't been affected by the negative effects of it. Now, if he didn't get the 10% damage buff from the mines in the Dwarven district, this one is going to be open, and that one is a flat 10% crit buff. So it's always nice to have. Especially as Frost Mage, you know, you can shatter things a lot easier with an extra 10% crit. So there you go, hour long, 10% crit chance, and I just keep track of it on my bars over here. You don't have to clear this pack, but just for completion's sake, you can generally just skip around it. These tentacles will go underground so long as there isn't someone in melee range. If you go out of melee range for even a split second, they're going to start casting their underground ability. And really the only way to stop that is if you stun them, but Mage has no stun, so you're kind of shit out of luck there. So this next boss is pretty interesting as Mage. And I'll show you why in a bit, if she lives long enough. You can decurse that and it'll completely cancel the cast. It is a curse. So you can decurse, interrupt, and then you'll have decurse available again for the next one. You can Ice Block convert if you want, but he's not going to live long, so I'm not too concerned. All that does is reduce your healing taken by 100%. So that's all there is to that. You can go. You can even start by killing a rat and ensuring you have Gift of the Titans for him, not bothering decursing or interrupting for any of his initial casts. waiting until that channel, the Gift of the Titans, falls off before you start canceling its channels, interrupting, decursing, etc. Um, now this one, when he does Chains of Servitude, you can Ice Block, and then you can remove Ice Block, and you're not being pulled. He will still stun you if you get within that circle, that zone. It's still bad. It's not like it makes the stone disappear. But you can, if you're a ranged DPS, just go ahead and cast on him. If you're, a paladin that can bubble, potentially a rogue that can cloak. I don't have a rogue to try on. Might not be the most beneficial ability for you to use. Won't really do anything if you can't get in melee range, but as a caster, you get some benefits out of it. Avoid the tentacle slams. They do consume a fair bit of sanity, if I recall correctly. I haven't really been hit recently. But it's something like 90 or 60 at max club level, probably. So you definitely want to avoid that. Once you clear all of that, you want to make sure you unlock your cages. That'll complete the zone, so to speak. Look for potions if you're missing sanity. If you're low on sanity, look for your relevant sanity potions. In my specific case for this one, it's red. There's the second red. And I've run out of markers, pretty much. Those are all sanity potions that give 100 sanity in previous zones. So right now, we've got every zone except one of them cleared. All 3 sanity orbs. We've got, 8 sanity potions for 800 sanity. Still have our cheat death. So we're looking pretty solid going into the last zone. What you can do, if you're kind of, maybe not as geared, not as experienced, you don't know the pathing, you don't do as much CPS, whatever the case may be, if you're still struggling, what I recommend is start this zone, leave whatever, sanity potions you have available in the back, and then you're going to clear some of this trash, leave the zone, get your sanity potions, and then come back and do some more of the zone to give you kind of like a bit of leeway when you're doing the zone. By most people, this is regarded as, the most difficult zone to do, so you want to make sure you have as much support going into it as possible. In terms of pathing for this zone, I prefer going the right side. It's the easiest, it's the fastest, least hassle. You're welcome to go, whichever side you prefer. If you are going the right side for the pathing, you're going to have these 2 tentacles here. They're burrowing tentacles, so they're going to burrow, pop up. You want to stay in melee range of them so they don't go anywhere. My fear circle just spawned, and I haven't spawned any sort of horrific figments yet. Still at 57% sanity. So I can go ahead and eat my kebab. Might be cutting it close on the tail end with another circle spawn, but we'll see. Yeah, we're good. And then after you do the tentacles, you can go ahead and do this zone right here. It's one of the portals right here. If you get Gift of the Titans here, what you can do is go ahead and face that annoying elite that does all the orbs. Or not orbs, the puddles. Drops them everywhere. Gonna go ahead and gamble on this dude giving my Gift of the Titans proc here. See how that gamble turns out.
Okay.
Yep, it's a good gamble. Use your cooldowns, kill it. These will still do a considerable amount of damage, but you don't need to be as concerned about the sanity loss aspect of it. Definitely make sure you avoid that. The puddles won't drop instantly, as you can see. I have some time to react and move out of the way. So the strategy is, you know, stand still, DPS a bit, move out before it lands, and repeat. The Void Buffet doesn't deal a lot of damage by itself, but it does apply a nasty debuff on you that increases shadow damage by 100% per application. So you might say, you know, that doesn't do a lot of damage to me, but then this mob will drop a Shadow Pool on you, and that will do 2, 3, 4 times the damage if you let the debuff stack. So definitely, you know, interrupt that. You can go ahead and sheep one of these if you want. Glacial Spike.
Protect.
There's sometimes a potion right here, sometimes a potion right there. Potions up here. I'm gonna wait until I dip below 50% because if I start eating once this is off cooldown, I'm gonna get the horrific spawn in the middle of it, and I don't want that. I'll demonstrate. I might be able to cheese it with Water Elemental, we'll see. So there's the spawn. He's gonna attack me. But I guess you can Water Elemental it, have your Water Elemental attack it, and then have it attack your Water Elemental and not get interrupted, I suppose. But that's kind of going into iffy territory. So after you kill all these, sometimes the potion here, sometimes when there's a red one it looks like right there. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and go for it. And sometimes a potion right here. So I'm leaving this potion for now. I'm undead, so I can just racial out of that. If you are not undead, you might want to interrupt that instead of the void debuff. Hopefully I get a Gift of the Titans proc here and I can just do the next boss with that. We'll see how lucky I get. Not lucky. So at this point, say, you know, you're barely struggling, you used up all your potions. Got about a minute until I run out of sanity. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that red potion that I skipped earlier. And then say you already used up some of the orbs and you don't exactly want to waste an orb on, you know, this early part of the zone. If you saved sanity potions in previous zones, that's where they're going to come in handy for times like these. So Assume I didn't have my orbs. You know, my cloak isn't high enough, my DPS isn't high enough, whatever the case may be. So I'm going to go back and use the orbs as a means to get sanity. Because I use the potions as a means to get sanity, because I mark the potions with global markers, it should be a lot easier to spot. So right now I'm looking for where I put my global markers. I see one marker right here. Click it, mark it off. There's another marker. It's already working our way back up the sanity chain.
Protected.
We didn't come in through this zone, so there's going to be the two ads on this side. So let's see, we're looking for our two sanity potions here. There's one marker. There's the other marker. Okay, so now you're back at full sanity. You've got your kebab off cooldown. You're ready to kind of do some more progress in the Mage Quarter area. So, say you weren't at full sanity, you're hurting for sanity. I'll go ahead and just demonstrate here what I meant with that guide. Gonna go ahead and pull the trash. You want to split it far enough that its health drops considerably and it's killable. You can also kill the other robots if you want, but it doesn't really make that much of a difference. So you can go ahead and kill him now. He doesn't have the shield bot working for him.
Protected.
So that gives 200 sanity because he's an elite. And he can drop a toy sometimes. I don't remember, it's goggles or something, I'll look it up in a bit. But I've already got the toy, so he's not going to drop anything this time. Overly Sensitive Void Spectacles is the toy that he has a chance to drop. It's not guaranteed, but... So you're going to go ahead, go back to the zone. Now you're at max sanity, you've got your kebab off cooldown, you're ready to go. This guy doesn't really do much, so you can go ahead and save the cooldowns until the next one. So, Rain of Fire, move out of, you have some time. He's going to spawn ads, they leave behind a pool of sanity draining explosion, you want to not be there. That's pretty much it as range. It's a pretty easy fight if you're ranged. If you're melee, you want to time it so that you spawn the rain away from him so you can go ahead and melee him. If you're ranged, it doesn't really make a difference.
In the Master's name,
Protect.
cannot stop us.
So that's a full clear on the zone. There's some potions here if you need them, so you know, say I'm concerned that my debuff is going to fall off, or buff is going to fall off, so I'm going to go ahead and drink that. And drink this. That'll add 15 minutes to each buff respectively. Now, unless you're, you know, a prot paladin, this upcoming boss is probably the most annoying one, right up there with Rexstar, for a lot of people. Reason being, he casts faster than, you know, you have interrupts available to interrupt him with. So for most people, unless you can just burst him without dealing with it, I would recommend using a sanity orb for this. I don't need it, but I'll demonstrate. He transitions at 70% health and 35% health, so you want to get him to 70%. In terms of raw sanity damage per second, the missiles are more deadly than the sheep. If you're trying to min-max how much sanity you lose, you want to interrupt the missiles and eat the sheep, as counterintuitive as that sounds. If you're a mage, what you can do is, I'll demonstrate here in a bit. Oh no, I don't have an interrupt. I'm gonna ice block the sheep, and I'm gonna ice block the missiles, and then I'm gonna come out of ice block. And save 2 interrupts. Interrupt the missiles. And 30, he's sub 35, so he went. If it's sled and foot and you don't feel like traveling, you can move your pet to him. And that'll interrupt him. Gonna go ahead and eat the sheep. I don't have any interrupts, so I'm gonna eat the missiles too. And that's pretty much it. He'll only transition twice, as he is right now. They did nerf him a bit from launch. And that's all there is to that fight. So in short, the idea is as follows. You make sure you use your kebabs on cooldown, you know, regen sanity. It's an extra 100 sanity every 3 minutes, as long as you're going to be safe for those 10 seconds. Clear the first zone, and then get the potions. If you're going to be capped on sanity, save the sanity potions, you don't need to waste them. You can always come back for them. Do the same for the second zone. And then in the third zone, you can start, like going back for potions if you need them. That's when people are generally going to run into no longer being sanity capped. In terms of boss mechanics, the annoying one is Shaw, really. You want to make sure you're parallel to him when you're casting so you don't stare at the eyes. And you do have a little bit of a time buffer between the eye being in front of your face and it finishing the channel and starting to drain sanity, so you don't have to panic about that. The boss before that, I don't remember her name. You can blink, you're a mage, you can blink out of the blade dance before it casts. If you've got, split images or whatever, you can just stand at max melee range from her if you're a melee and move out as soon as she starts casting it. You might eat a tick, but that's about it. Don't forget to get your 2 buffs from either one of these two, whichever's open, and either the Dwarven or Trade District. And that's pretty much it. That's the entire 5-mask run centers around you regaining sanity via kebabs, potions, killing elites, faster than you can drain it. And you have, 3 sanity orbs to help deal with that. So here, what I'm going to do, just because I can, is resurrect my buyer real quick. Go ahead and try to kill a rat or something.
Protected.
Proc my gift, and then start the boss fight.
Beware.
So this is just kind of like a culmination of all the boss special abilities, plus her own. There's the mines you can kick, or you can just move out if you're, a ranged DPS. The eye moved in front of me, but he didn't start casting immediately. Move out of that. Definitely you want to avoid the eruption. That does a considerable amount of sanity damage.
Beware.
Interrupt the polymorphs.
Run away, little girl.
Same applies here. You can ice block the application and then just keep on DPSing. Make sure you line of sight that.
Beware.
It's more of a hassle with this boss in particular and the eyeball, but you can stand in these circles, get the damage buff. If you don't stand in them, you're going to get a 10% damage reduction instead of a buff.
Beware.
It is the denied power. As you can see, since this is frozen, I can't pick it, so be careful where you cleave.
Beware.
And that's pretty much all there is to the 5-mask. Getting used to the mechanics, getting used to the pacing,
Beware.
and always regenerating sanity at a healthy rate.
Protected.
In terms of eye level, I'm currently at 476, running 31 net corruption, running 115 actual corruption without the resistance. Everything you saw in there will have half the health if you're running by yourself. This was a carry run, so everything had twice the health. And that's it. Feel free to ask any questions in the comments. I did have one person ask about weak auras. If you want to know about the weak auras, I can link them. But basically, it's buff weak auras, particularly for long buff durations, like a minute or longer on the left-hand side. So I can kind of easily keep track. I've got my sanity weak aura. I've got these weak auras on the left and right hand side that track all my buffs, offensive buffs, defensive cooldowns. I've got this weak aura that lets me know if I'm missing Arcane Intellect. This one will track if I proc my Cheat Death or not. It'll turn red when it's procced. I can go ahead and link that as well. As you saw when I drop a Sanity Orb, there is a bar I use that tracks how long it's going to be up. It has a pinging sound in case selling a carry and one of the buyers uses an orb, I can listen for it, be aware that they used it. And that's about it, aside from, standard. I have a health, weak aura, something to keep track of my procs for Frost Mage. I can go ahead and link all the weak auras, the potion weak aura, in the comments, but they're mostly going to be relevant for Frost Mage. They're not tailored for every specific class. It's mostly tailored for Frost Mage. You're not going to get much benefit out of it if you're not. And that's pretty much it.